Next statement by the Chair of Agriculture.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to give statement on illegal fishing in Lake Victoria. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 44-2C of the National Assembly Standing Orders, Honorable Dr. W. Ojiambo Oundo, MP, member for Munyula constituency, requested for statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock on the following issues. 1, what measures has the government put in place to ensure the fishermen get legal fishing gears and nets and then guarantee the security of the same? 2, when is the government going to set up a maritime office in the Samia sub-county? Mr. Speaker, the responses are as follows. Mr. Speaker, illegal, unreported, and unregulated, commonly known as IUU fishing, is a big threat to the fishing industry and globally as it undermines the sustainability and socio-economic benefits of the fisheries resources. Mr. Speaker, Kenya is a party to the FAO Agreement on Port State Measures Agreement, PSMA 2015, to deter, prevent, and eliminate illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. Kenya is also a signatory to the Code of Conduct for Responsible Fishing. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 ensures that the natural resources are sustainably utilized for the benefit of all Kenyans. The Fisheries Management and Development Act 2016 also bans use of all illegal fishing gears and methods. The fisheries resources are a very vulnerable natural resources and can easily collapse or decline if not well managed. Mr. Speaker, the fisheries resources in Lake Victoria are common property of the citizens of East Africa community. The fishing standards, management, measures, and policy are harmonized through the coordination of the Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization. The management measures are based on scientific findings, but some are precautionary and is used as fisheries management measurement meant to promote sustainable use and long-term conservation of fisheries resources. Mr. Speaker, the measures take cognizance of international and regional initiatives, including the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, Code of Conduct for Responsible Fisheries, and the Regional Plan of Action on specific issues and agreement on agreed actions under the Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization. Mr. Speaker, a ban on illegal fishing method or gears is therefore based on its detrimental effect upon fish stocks, aquatic ecosystems, and the livelihoods of legitimate fishers and on food security. Mr. Speaker, the ban on illegal fishing is a global practice for managing a fishery and is affected lake-wide or in an ecosystem and not in Funyula only, as fish have no boundaries. As far as the fishing gears are concerned, the East Africa Community member states riparian to Lake Victoria have banned a number of undersized or destructive fishing gears and imposed restrictions on the size of fish to be caught, landed and traded, as well as restricted fishing areas since the year 2001. Mr. Speaker, the gears and methods prohibited include beach signs, cast nets, monofilament nets, gill nets whose mesh sizes are below 127 millimeters, trolling, as well as the use of explosive, poisonous, or noxious substances. Mr. Speaker, the ban on 5mm gill net is not new and was first introduced with enactment of Fisheries General Regulation of 2001. 2001 via Kenya Gazette Notice number 7565 of 2001 and currently in the new Fisheries Management and Development Act 2016. Mr. Speaker, this is because it captures juvenile fish, which is outlawed, namely tilapia fish whose standard length is below 25 centimeters, and Nile perch fish whose total length falls outside the range of 50 to 85 centimeters. Mr. Speaker, continual procurement and use of the illegal nets by fishers is against the law and cannot be supported. Mr. Speaker, allowing or compensating the fishers to break the law could lead to depletion of the fisheries resources, leading to loss of livelihoods, raw material for fish processing, as well as foreign exchange earnings from the export of fish. Mr. Speaker, recent surveys have shown increased use of undersized gill nets of below 5 inches and subsequent decline in fish stocks. This has, in effect, seen the dramatic decline in catches in Lake Victoria, posing grave threats to the livelihoods and food security of the fishing communities around the lake. Mr. Speaker, the ban of gill nets below 5 inches is therefore premised on the need to recover fish stocks and improve the fortunes of fishermen in Lake Victoria, including Funyula. Continual removal of juvenile fish from the lake has led to reduced recruitment of fish in the lake and subsequently low productivity. Mr. Speaker, the Kenyan part of the lake produced 145,000 metric tons in 2014 before the decline to 96,000 metric tons in 2016 as illegalities increased. Mr. Speaker, the government, through the newly created agencies by the Fisheries Management and Development Act 2016, has set up mechanisms for ensuring sustainable utilization of our fisheries resources. Part 28 of the Act has created the Fish Levy Trust Fund, whose object to provide supplementary funding of activities geared towards management, development, capacity award, and agent mitigation to ensure sustainability of the fisheries resources. Mr. Speaker, two fisher persons from fresh waters and marine waters are part of the board trustees, which has already been established. Further, the fishermen have fishermen cooperative societies which provide legal inputs for sustainable fishing. The Kenya Fisheries Services is strengthening fisher association and beach management units that will assist the access of the fishing gears. Mr. Speaker, the ministry is in dialogue with financial institutions on specific packages suitable for the fishing industry. The ministry also intends to transform beach management units into economic units, a measure that is likely to enhance their capacity, encourage public-private partnership as means to enhance access of local fishermen to fishing facilities, and is also considering tax rebates for fishing equipment to try and lower the cost of fishing equipment for the poor fishermen. Mr. Speaker, part 2 of the question on whether maritime office in Samia sub-county should be established. And Mr. Speaker, initially, the Department for Fisheries had offices in all sub-counties producing fish. Most of these offices have been transferred to the county governments, as fisheries is a devolved function. In terms of security, the Transboundary Security Committee and mechanisms between Kenya and Uganda addresses the security concerns occasioned by indicated criminals from Uganda. The establishment of the multi-agency Kenya Coast Guard Service under the Ministry of Interior coordination with the mandate of maritime security will enhance security in the lake as whole, including Busia County. Kenya Fisheries Services, being part of the multi-agency Coast Guard Services of Kenya, will second 50 fisheries officers to the Kenya Coast Guard Services as part of strengthening response to fisheries management issues in all Kenyan waters, including Lake Victoria. Mr.